Welcome to the Her Sweet Spot Experience, dishing out tips and tricks on mindset, money, marketing, and media for your life and business, and where we talk to women about how they found their sweet spot.
Hey, guys. What's happening, sweet maids? Welcome to the Her Sweet Spot Experience, your dose of inspiration, where we celebrate and amplify the voices of women inspiring women entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Marsha Guerriere, and on today's episode of the Her Sweet Spot podcast, we're thrilled to welcome Lauren Wells, a renowned holistic wellness expert and trailblazing femtech founder. As the visionary behind Hervival, Lauren empowers millennials and Gen X women of color through innovative wellness and self-care practices. What's her mission? To combat stress, eradicate burnout, and enhance productivity both in the workplace and beyond. Known fondly as the gut health bestie, I need a little bit of that. Lauren's approach intertwines mind-body healing techniques with a focus on gut health, offering unique blends of corporate wellness workshops, personalized coaching, and an engaging membership experience. Through the Hervival Accountability and Community app, she provides a supportive platform specifically designed for women of the Black diaspora, making wellness accessible right at their fingertips. Join me as I dive into this conversation with my girl, Lauren. Welcome.
Hi, hey Marsha.
You know when you get to New York, when you get to New York now, Connecticut, expat, new native, all that, right? She left us. That's okay though.
No, I'm still there. I'm super close though.
Hop, skip, and a jump away. People think that Connecticut is so far away. You know, and when you're a New Yorker, Lauren, you know, we're very territorial.
Yes.
We're very like in the pod. We live in this bubble. It's like New York, even within. You're in Brooklyn. You're like, I don't know what the Bronx is. No one's heard of Staten Island. All the things, right?
Yep.
But we are here in these virtual streets hanging out. Lauren, I'm so happy to have you here. You and I have been working together and have been supporting each other through our business ventures for a number of years now. You came to me originally as a Her Rise micro grant winner, and then you stayed on to really help build, you know, as a founder, I always say I'm here for everyone else, but you guys pour into me just as much as I pour into you. So I appreciate you for being here and staying within the Her Sweet Spot family. Let the people, I know I said a lot, my gut health bestie, but share a little bit about your journey and how you became this gut health bestie.
Yes. Well, first and foremost, Marsha, thank you so much for having me on. You have just definitely been, I'm pretty sure every entrepreneur agrees with this. You have been a beacon of light from just the transitions. Like, you know, I came to Her Sweet Spot way before there even was a Hervival, you know, and figuring this process out, because many of us who are entrepreneurs know all about the pivot, and Her Sweet Spot is definitely helpful during a pivot. So how did I get to the gut health bestie? That's a good question. So I always been in health, wellness, fitness, social services in some way. You know, I started out as in high school doing nursing. So I've always had a passion on helping people to be healthier and happier. However, over the time, when I started understanding and learning the difference of Eastern philosophy and Western philosophy, I went from being more of the sick care system, I guess you would say, to more preventative and really seeing people as the whole, their whole, like caring for them on their whole health, whole body from that whole holistic standpoint. The gut health bestie started to come in place for my own health challenges and adversities as I really got in professionally as a, you know, business owner and an entrepreneur in the realms of the health and wellness space, starting out as a trainer in New York. I didn't realize the health digestive complications that I thought was common and normal, being always bloated, gassy, painful. And then learned that I had hypothyroidism and hormonal challenges. I understood how to get fit, but I didn't understand to be holistically healthy.
Right.
Yeah, I looked good on the gram, but I was really like, my body was literally like burning inside. Like, people couldn't see that I had chronic pain. People wasn't able to tell the challenges that I would have in the day to day. So it led me to start going into like, what's a more natural approach? Because as I go to doctors, oh, you're young, can't find anything. But when it started to get into hormonal challenges and getting diagnosed with not one, but end up getting diagnosed with 2 autoimmunes, I started to dig deeper. And it's just something about when they hand that script and it's like, yeah, you're going to take this for the rest of your life. It was something in me. And I guess that was the natural healer, the God-given talent that God gave me, was like, can I find another approach? Nothing against, like there's definitely, I believe in science, and, checking into that is important. It's not to say like my whole house does not have a leave in this house, or anything like that for pain. But it was something that sparked where I was just like, can I figure out a different approach before I, commit to taking this for the rest of my life? Because I was reading the side effects, like they were really talking to me about the side effects. I'm like, I already got enough issues happening. Like, I don't want to feel like that. So that's when I started learning about juicing and wheatgrass and all this stuff. And I never forget, it was in the middle of the night, I was reading about wheatgrass, and then I started learning about detoxing, and I ended up becoming a detox coach and partnered with a organization and a company, and started getting into cleansing, gut health, cleansing, detox and stuff. And I started to learn so much, and, having that thorough understanding that your disease starts in the gut. And I just never
no one talks about that. No one really explains that.
Culture.
Right.
It's not discussed, or let me say, we got removed from it. That's the thing. Modern day and quick, fast microwave world we're in society, we got removed from that. So as I started learning and getting into it, I was like, now I want, to dive in deeper, get the credentials, started studying. I studied Ayurveda. I got my nutrition and digestion certification as a health coach. And then it was just over time, like someone was like, you're like my gut health bestie. And I was like,
oh, I'll take it. But Lauren, how do you, because no one ever talks about that. It's never, like you said, the first thing is, especially when you get to a certain age and all these things start to creep up, for over time, you're like, okay, I got a little gas, I got a little stomach here, pain, this, that, or whatever. And then you swallow the pink stuff or take a tablet and you call it a day. But no one's ever teaching you until it's almost too late, until you're at that point, right? Yeah. How do you help educate people before it's too late? Do people even respond to it? Because if it ain't happening to me, I don't need it, right? Who's listening? How do you reach people to get them to realize what they're doing to their body? I have like a ton of questions for you, but I also want to go back and say, you mentioned that in high school you started off as in nursing, so you've really always been health and wellness,
pharmacy tech all through high school and
college. Fun fact: I went to high school. I started high school in nursing, and I got to those sciences, girl, and I was like, math is the way for me. Put me in business.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie; those anatomy classes was lethal, but I don't know. It was just something about the body.
But you stayed within the health and wellness space. So now, how is it that how do you reach people to spread the message of gut health is what is ruining you, right? And how can you reverse some of the things naturally, the way you just described that you've done for yourself. How do we reach people?
Yeah. So I am going to be honest and upfront. It is very challenging. I mean, even for me, I started learning. I don't think I got the education, but I started learning of like, well, I feel fine. And like you said, the gas, you just think it's normal or comes with age. And give me the pink stuff. I was a Pepto-Bismol girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like not realizing like, okay, you're just subsiding the symptoms. So I can be honest to say, like, I do experience out of my 10 years professionally helping and coaching people, hundreds of people over the years. It is still that, what's that statement where it was like, you could bring the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it type thing.
Yeah.
It has to be something that sparks for them. And in a lot of cases, to be honest, once people actually decide to make that investment and start working with me, it's because they already started experiencing the pain.
Right.
So that's one of the unfortunate things. But I can say by just sharing, like for me, and I feel like this is one of my gifts, my genius zones, in a way that I bring a lot of like understanding of like the ancestral wisdom from the spiritual aspects too, as well as the science. And I'm able to bridge that gap to make it for the modern day woman today, to make it make sense. So I realized, and this is exactly why I was like, okay, I do talk about gut health, but I speak about mindfulness and stress. People respond more to stress. And especially because I work with women of color, we are in this era of like, we need to live the soft girl life. Like, ooh, I'm tired. Like, miss me with that. And they're responding to the stress quicker than when I talk about like health, weight loss, stuff like that, because they've had so many adversities, challenge. It seems hard. I don't want to go raw vegan. I don't want to just eat, bitter herbs and everything like that when it comes to the health part. But when I really share, because like people don't realize your stress levels, your hormones, all that lives in your gut too.
Right.
So I find people to hear me a little bit easier now when I speak in the space of mindfulness, and I kind of like, infiltrate their mind a little bit and scam them a little bit. And then they find themselves like, it's so funny when I think about some of my clients where they're like, yo, like you kind of like scare me. Like, I was just trying to manage stress and like, work-life balance and, get into more like the lifestyle, life coaching part. And yeah, I know I need to live healthier. I know I need to lose weight. But when they started really taking care of that, they saw the importance of their health. It's very hard in this day-to-day modern busy life that we put our obligations and everything to life first, that our health gets on that back burner. But when we start taking care of the mind, the stress levels, we feel more worthy and deserving of nurturing our bodies and feeling and having that energy. And once you get a little taste of it, of how good it feels and not to have the pain, oh, I woke up not bloated today, I got energy, oh, I'm a morning person now, like all of those things that my clients start to say, and even our members and everything, that's when it starts to feel worthy. But I would say the last part of that is putting a community together. And, where, especially within our culture, where you see other women who look like you, who had challenges like you, and finding their way, and everybody's finding in their own way and what works, that's what really moves. So that's exactly why I stay in the 3 realms of coaching directly with clients, but also going to organizations and doing like well-being workshops, mindfulness workshops, speaking and managing stress, and then giving a little bit of education about gut health and nutrition, and then having a community. That's where I feel like is the key.
It's absolutely key. And one of the frameworks or core aspects of Her Sweet Spot as well is building community. I think once we begin to surround ourselves with people that are facing similar challenges and can talk about our experiences while getting that expert support, advice, and help is key. And so that's why Her Sweet Spot and Hervival are very
we're like
closely aligned.
Totally.
So you talked a little bit about your Jedi mind trick as a CEO and founder and how you approach getting your clients. So I want you to turn your hat now to that CEO and that person behind what Hervival is all about. And, you know, in your bio, I threw out there, you're the femme tech founder of Hervival. And oftentimes we're living a double life within our business because we're the operator and we're the owner. So we are the tech founder, we are the head coaches, we are the head consultants and experts within our communities and within our organizations. How has it been for you working at times alone, at times with teams, to build this? You have an app, you have a whole membership, you are now really churning out lots of content, in-person experiences now that we're back in the street. How has it been really for you as a founder? You know, we work on the 4 pillars of success framework, which is mindset, money, marketing, and media. What are some of the mindset shifts you have to do on a day-to-day basis, going from, okay, we got to keep the lights on, to I got to help this lady ensure that, you know, she's getting rid of the stress? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely no cakewalk at all, but understanding what I'm called to and ordained to, you know, I'm very spiritual. So that's why for me, like, you know, the 3 aspects in the tagline of Hervival is revive your mind, body, and spirit. I got to live that too.
Yes.
Now, this makes it easier in some capacity because I've already lived this life before Hervival was ever birthed. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm literally like my first client, living example. And the good part is, like, even when I get off course, because yes, the Gut Health Bestie does get off course. It's always a reminder, like, okay, you got to stay on course, because if you don't, like, everything tumbles behind that. So one, being understanding of my assignment that I'm ordained and called to do, pouring into my mental, my physical, and my spiritual.
Yeah.
And then the biggest part, which is actually was a big reminder for me coming into like the new year, was like the super importance of like routine. Like, man, me, like my ego me wants to stay up late, wants to just eat whatever. I don't want to work out, like read a book. Why? Like, I hate reading, like all that stuff. But I realized the role, what I'm called for, and what it takes. You know, like I said, it's impossible. You can get away with a little bit, but then that's how burnout happens, right?
Right.
You don't stay committed to your task, your word, and what you need to do. So I'm always like refreshing myself and getting back onto, like, okay, I need to get my routine. It starts with my sleep. It starts with how I'm waking up in the morning, my task list, and, you know, everything else that I need to do. So that's really what it is. It's like, to wear the hat of the CEO, you got to pour. I have to pour into me as a person first, holistically, like the whole me, mind, body, and spirit.
That's so a great distinction. It's pouring into Lauren before you pour into founder and CEO. People often in the hamster wheel are not making that distinction, and I think it's so key. You know, early on in my career, I created a planner called Plan, Pray, Prosper. It's still out there.com. Go get your Plan, Pray, Prosper. It's an undated planner where you can start and stop. It infuses spirituality, prayer requests, prayer focus, and allows you to plan in those key areas of life, which is personal, which is business, and family. I put family as a third thing because we think it's part of the personal, but it gets neglected because the personal has just too many things. And it's important to also zero in on family as a focus. And family could be anything. Your family could be your friends, or it could be your actual bloodline, right? But going back to that CEO and starting a tech company is no easy task. You could deliver. I have a lot of clients that don't see themselves as tech founders. They deliver their services, and they have a digital footprint, very small. So they're not really trying to build a huge digital footprint until they meet me, and then I impress upon them that importance, right? And so it ain't cheap. Lauren, to build a tech company. And that's probably why most of my, beginner clients are like, that's not my lane. And it should be. And so when we're building these tech companies, it takes a lot of money, Lauren. Like I said, you came to us as a recipient of the grant, and then you moved on years later to get selected for a pitch, and you won second prize at our Pitch Fest in March of last year. Pitch Fest coming back 2024. Stay tuned. But what has been your fundraising journey been like? What is your approach to paying for all of these critical needs when building a tech company?
Yeah. Well, first I want to say I did not realize I was a tech founder until I was around you in Her Sweet Spot. I never forget one time we had like one of those Friday mixers or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm a tech founder? Like I had a whole app and it didn't click in my head. And
she had a whole app, y'all. She's running an app.
I think I had it for like maybe just getting ready to go into a year and never understood the tech world, that space. I didn't understand I was a tech founder. I didn't understand I was a fintech founder. I didn't understand
you don't see other tech founders that look like you exclaiming founder terms. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't identify it. And it was like, oh, I'm a community tech. Like I didn't even know. So definitely thank you there, giving you your flowers right here. I don't think I told you in that context. I did not know I was a tech founder until coming into Her Sweet Spot. And then of course it does take money. So I didn't know. I know this isn't ideal for business development planning and, all that. But like I said, I'm very spiritual, and God just whispered in my ear to like rebrand, start something called Hervival. I couldn't hear it. And you're going to start with an app. And I was just like, what? Like, what is happening? But I'm obedient. So I literally was on a faith walk on this path and getting into it, not understanding. And I just thought, okay, it's just this, that, this is a lot of money. And as I'm in it and understanding, and now like really identifying and understanding I am a tech founder, I'm in a tech space and learning it, it does take some big girl money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, which is why I started getting into fundraising, because I was like, okay, there's no way possible for me to be able to really sustain this for all the work. And then it takes a lot of work. So I'm like, if I'm doing all this, it needs to do something. And then as I'm building, the people who I'm serving need more. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is just scratching the surface. So when I realized that, I'm like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have to do what it do and start figuring out fundraising. And I tried like the crowdfunding, went through iPhone Women, like all those things. And I just wasn't there yet. Mm-hmm. And it took for you to see something in me, like, here with Her Sweet Spot, and boom, I'm starting my journey just this 2023 March with the pitch competition. That was my first time. And then I realized I started to see an opportunity of that path and that walk of like, all right, there's something here. Let me overcome whatever it is that's getting in my way, that's showing up across for me to talk about my business,
right,
and share this vision that is being called to get the funding that's needed. Because also too, understanding financial literacy, we don't need to keep using our dollars. And I have bootstrapped for 10 years, like, you know what I mean? Like way before Hervival. And I'm like, okay, I'm tired of using my money. Like, like I'm now a wife, I'm now a homeowner. I got like life responsibilities that needs more, and I can't keep exhausting. And there's money out there for me. Why am I not deserving of it?
Yeah, it's such there's a money mindset shift that for sure we have to make. Again, why money is the second pillar of our 4-pillar of success framework. Mindset is always at the top of mind, because we're often having to undo all the damage, right? Or programming that has been placed on us, especially as women of color, especially as Black women, when it comes to the fact that we deserve money, we deserve to earn an equals wage, we deserve to get access to funding, and putting ourselves out there.
Even if it's limited.
Even if it's limited, even if it's not the million.
Mindset, because that's one of the things that I almost wanted to walk. Well, us as women of color, we only get less than 1% of the funding. So who am I? Still get to it.
Still go.
Because I'm going to be a part of that 1%.
It's out there. And, you know, the Her Rise grant is really meant to be that, you know, seed that we plant into women to help them see that there is money out there. Once you speak it into existence, once you start to do the work, like you said, to overcome our fears of talking about ourselves, talking about our businesses. We come from, excuse me, we come from, you know, our ancestors that say, be humble, you know, don't speak out, and don't ask, don't you're not a handout. You know, our pride and our ancestors' pride, we're stuck in that, and we're trying to build. And I'm not saying that I got it all. I'm not saying that I'm there wholly, right? And like you said, even you as the gut health bestie, you have to remind yourself, right, some of your own practices. And I have to do the same too, even as the founder of Her Sweet Spot, motivating and pushing everyone doing what they're doing. You're dropping good gems on us, Lauren. I'm you know, we could talk forever because we have we have and we will. But, you know, I know, and I've seen you pour into others within our community, in our boardroom sessions, at our mixers. You know, building a network and building relationships are really the other aspect of advancing as entrepreneurs. Can you share a story about a mentor or a sponsor who played another crucial role in your advancement as an entrepreneur too?
Yeah, I definitely have been blessed and fortunate to have many mentors and coaches over the years that has shaped, molded, grown me, from organizations, MLMs. I was a part of all of that. But I really want to pay my latest, God rest her soul, mentor, Marie Smith of Data 360. She was definitely someone that had really shaped my mindset, because like even when Hervival was birthed and born, it was just an app and an extension, a way of my services. And like she really just like snatched my edges, flipped me upside down to realize like, girl, you got a whole enterprise here. Like you have a full larger company. And then that's when the seeds that you even planted with like, oh, I'm a tech founder, I'm a tech company, like not even realizing that, like, you know what I mean? So shout out to her. Everything that she said still lives in me, still lives beyond me, as well as other business owners and stuff that she support. But she was a big one to really realize that I need to play a bigger game. Although I always known that, but like reminding of it and realizing what is right in my hands of what I've created. And I always hear her like, oh, I'm a whole tech company out here.
That's
like,
right.
You know, like, and realizing it and living that and feel worthy of it.
You said a reminder, right? And what I think people miss about coaching and consulting and working with coaches and experts like you and I is not because people, oh, I could do that by myself, or I could read a book, or I could go on YouTube and I could do this, and you can, and you should, right? But it doesn't replace having someone. There's two things that I always say. I write what I want. I write what I think. I'm a writer. I'm old school. You call me old school. My son don't like to write. He likes to type. He's 9 years old. He's the digital age kid, right? But I write everything, and I also need to speak it. So being able to have someone to talk to bounce things off of is really important. And it doesn't have to be a full-blown $30,000 a year coach. It's communities like Her Sweet Spot. It's communities like Hervival, which is focused in wellness. Her Sweet Spot focused in entrepreneurship. Seek out your coaches that are authentic, real, and that are real.
Yeah,
because they're not all made equal.
Yeah, you need a tribe. it takes a coach, it takes a community, it takes a village. Like, mothers always look at, like, you cannot raise a child all by yourself. Can you, if you really have to, but it's not meant to.
Right.
Your business is a baby too. Like, like, so you need support. It's not meant, that whole self-made walk, it is important for you to do in your own mindset, to actually do the work. But at the same time, you need a community, you need a coach, you need a village, you need a tribe.
Yeah. Lauren, I have a pop-up question for you. A question that I like to ask, that if you had to start your business all over again and you only had $500, what would you do first? Knowing everything having been through so many hurdles, and then there's still more to come. We're not at the end of success. There's levels to success. So we know that. But if you had to start all over again, where would you invest your first?
Have you registered yet as a business? Because that takes money right there.
Well, you registered.
Okay, I'm registered. Business is already in place. Because I'm like, trademark, like all that.
You're done. Not even trademark, but that's a good one, right?
Okay,
not even trademark, because people don't start there. You have the idea, you know what you're doing. You're an expert at baking, let's say, and then you want to start over, and now you are LC Bakery. And what are you going to spend $500 on first?
All right, cool. So first, I would definitely look into like your city, entrepreneur programming, right? And work with like the small business services, something like that. So that way you can get all your legal stuff pro bono, but you're still going to have to pay for like registration of things. So I would take a portion of that, and if you really know or you're sure, unless you have a plan to make the money first and do that, but take care of like whatever the trademark part. The rest, I would immediately get like a website or something, some type of service to set up how to exchange the funding and the money. And the rest, I would like come to like something like Her Sweet Spot, figure out like, can I just pay for like a one time for the month or something like that to get into, so you can get some support to start knowing your first steps.
Yeah. Okay. I, at Her Sweet Spot, we try to make it extremely affordable, so that it takes that first $500 or $4.99 for the year or $49 a month to really get the support you need. So we're trying to make it accessible to all, right?
And that's like so doable. But like I said, I would hop on the month, you always want, if you know it's something that you really want, of course, making the annual investment because it saves, but hop on for the month for a little bit until you get your coins to upgrade, and get whatever the tools that you need to do to start making your sales.
Excellent. Looking ahead, what's your vision for Hervival? And Lauren, and your role as an entrepreneur, how do you see your journey evolving?
So how do I see my journey evolving is leaning more into speaking. It's already started happening, getting paid to speak. It's so funny because I'm like, I'm falling across this line as this like motivation speaker, life coach type thing happening. So evolving, I definitely see that, books in that lane. And what is my vision with Hervival is wanting to be able to expand our community. Like we're really looking to build within the Connecticut and the New York area, like tri-state area for sure. Because we were birthed during the pandemic, so we're kind of all up and down the East Coast. So expanding ourselves to have more of a network here within our local community, where we can have more quarterly sessions, a different type of self-care, community involved workshops and education, and then starting to evolve to do monthly and then annual retreats, like where we're packing up and going on vacation somewhere. So that's definitely a goal and a mission of what I wanted to be able to do, as well as partnerships and organizations. That's already starting. I can't say it yet, but things and ways that's going to make the holistic living lifestyle easier for women. So, knowing where to go grocery shopping for your body type, your gut health type, your nutrition needs, and having, partnerships where it's easily accessible and affordable, where you can do your, I don't want to say names, but you are able to go ahead and click buttons and get everything that you need for you and your household that meets your health goals.
I love that. The app is where it's at. Hervival app. Y'all need to join, become members, get that grocery list. Lauren, people want to come to your workshops. They want to come to your live experiences. How can we connect with you and learn more about the work you're doing and your upcoming events?
Yeah, so all you have to do is go to Hervival, hervival.co.com, and you can learn more about our community. We have a free community on Facebook, as well as a group inside of our app. You go and download the Hervival app. You just look up Hervival in your app stores. And you can find me on the social media streets. Again, we're on Hervival _ on Instagram. And you'll find me playing around on my Thrive with LC Instagram page over there.
Thank you again, Lauren, for being my guest today. I totally appreciate you. This has been a really great conversation, as usual, with you. Guys, it's the end of the show. You can connect with Lauren online, as she says. You know how I end each show. When we empower each other, we all rise. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Her Sweet Spot Experience. Make sure to visit our website, www.hersweetspot.com. That's her, SUITE, spot.com, where you can become a member of our growing community and get great content for your life and business. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. We are your strategic partners to grow your business.